Hey, welcome back to Ask the Professor with Terry Cooper, and I'm Dave Dufour here at RVNN TV. We're talking about the three deadly sins of air conditioner of RV air conditioner owners, and we covered number one, which was having poor power to your RV air conditioner. What's sin number two, Professor?
Well, Dave, sin number two is lack of airflow. If you don't get
Mm,
enough airflow across that air conditioner, you're just out of luck, is all I can say.
okay.
Um,
Wait a minute, I want to go back because I got to get to there. It is poor airflow. So, and that is well, you have it because of the air filter being clogged. Is that usually the problem?
that's really the number one thing.
Uh huh.
Typically, what happens, people forget or just get a little busy and just don't clean that air filter. So pretty soon we start clogging it up
Mm-hmm.
and it chokes down. It's just like the air conditioner in our brick and stick home. If we're
Yeah.
not there changing those filters, cleaning those filters, then we're not getting the airflow across those coils.
Mm-hmm.
Because, be honest with you, the air that we're trying to strip heat from is the air that's around our body and around in the environment of the coach. And if we
Mm-hmm.
can't get it across the coils of that air conditioner, we can't strip the heat away from it so we can get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have airflow through to get good cool air out.
Okay. And it's this little kind of plastic or what this mesh stuff that we use.
hmm Now, every manufacturer has a little bit different type of filter.
Mm-hmm.
You typically see with our Dometic and with Coleman, they've got kind of a little bit of a neoprene unit that when you look at it, it's got all these little fine little holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really very simple to clean. It really is. I mean, you can take it and wash it in the kitchen sink, at the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom sink. And I recommend that you use a little laundry detergent or a dishwashing soap on it to break all the grease and grime up.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens many times is that we're using our kitchen and we're maybe frying something, and so all of a sudden the air begins to start circulating, and that grease is airborne and gets trapped on those air filters, air filter holes, and
Right.
blocks those holes up. And so you start blocking it, you start restricting the airflow, and then pretty soon this air conditioner is running. It's consuming the same amount of electricity to operate it. It's just not doing the job for you because it just doesn't have any airflow to do what you need for it to do.
Now, let me ask you this: do these things wear out, and can do you replace them at some point or another?
You do replace them. Typically, what happens is they deteriorate through age.
Uh
They
huh.
just begin to start breaking down because they are kind of a plastic membrane, a little,
Mm-hmm.
and I say neoprene. That's really more what they're made of.
Yeah.
But like I say, usually what you see is after about 4 or 5 years, it begins to start breaking down. But
Right.
my goodness, you can buy these for just pennies and then take a pair of scissors and cut you another one, put it in there, and you're
Like
good to go again.
just go down to Lowe's and buy yourself some of that. Is that where it is? See, I
You can buy them.
didn't mean to plug Lowe's, but I mean that's a good enough place as any. Menards.
Yeah. Any of the big box stores will
Sure.
have this type filter, or you can pick them at the RV dealerships, order it
Sure.
offline. I mean, so we really, believe it or not, we as human beings don't have an excuse other than, well, I just didn't get off my butt and go do
Yeah,
it, you know?
that's true. Okay, so what's another reason we might have poor airflow?
Well, we kind of laugh about this in the industry, but most people don't realize that when you start looking at the doors in these RVs,
Mm-hmm.
there's usually an air gap below the door and a pretty good sized air gap above the door. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens is that when we're dumping this air into these different rooms, we've got to be able to draw it back to that air conditioner.
Gotcha.
Well, I've seen a lot of folks put towels along the bottom and things like that. And so pretty soon we're not getting the airflow from that room back into that air conditioner.
Oh, okay.
So
So
that's the other big thing.
okay. But now, what about the coils themselves? Do you have to deal with making some changes to those? We got a slide here about cleaning and straightening the coils. Does that have to do with airflow as well?
Absolutely. And that's the other thing. Now, what happens many times is that if we've been neglectful in doing our maintenance as far as cleaning the filter,
Mm-hmm.
then pretty soon that filter begins to give up, and I've seen the filters collapse.
Right.
And then pretty soon there is no cleaning effect, and then we start bringing in all this trash and debris. And like I've told my students before, I've literally cleaned some of these air conditioners and pulled a little fuzzy blanket off of it, and what it was kitty fur.
Oh yeah.
And you pull it off of the filter, and you think, my goodness, it's a little look like a little kitty blanket.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, definitely know there wasn't any air flowing through this thing.
Yeah.
And
That's
so, when you start getting them dirty and grunged up,
right.
and you may end up having then to do some serious cleaning with some of these coil cleaners, those
Okay.
aerosol coil cleaners.
Right, and then straightening out the coils themselves are basically you've got those vanes on there, and how do those get damaged when in travel, kind of normally over time?
They do, and typically, because an air conditioner has two different types of coils, one that's picking up the air that's inside the RV and pulling that heat out of the air, then the refrigerant takes that heat that is picked up from that inside set of coils,
Mm-hmm.
runs it through the compressor, then sends it out to the outside of the set of coils. Now, these are the coils that we see when we look on top of the look on top of the RV. This
Mm-hmm.
is the back of the air conditioner. Well, many times what happens is we have a small hailstorm, or maybe we bump into a tree branch or something like that. And when you do that, you bend those coils.
Okay.
Well, when you bend them, it's like, and this is what I tell students all the time, is that it's like getting a Walmart trash bag over the coils of your radiator of your
Yeah.
automobile. It's going
Right.
to block the airflow.
Yeah, it's true. You're going to overheat. So, okay. So, is it pretty simple to do? You just talked about serious cleaning here, and I can see we're using the aerosol coil cleaner here. Is that really a nasty job, or is it actually fairly simple?
It's really pretty simple, Dave. And
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, I've got a DVD that will show people that they can do this themselves.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, here again, it's one of those things that if somebody would just show us how,
Mm-hmm.
we can do this ourselves.
Sure.
And why not? And
Right.
save that $1,100 for a new air conditioner.
That's it. Yep. And it makes it last longer as well. I got to believe that air conditioner is working harder than it should, and it probably putting more stress on the motor if the airflow is restricted too, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's what's happening. We
Mm-hmm.
literally burn these things up either because of the low voltage or
Mm-hmm.
the airflow. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, we're crippling this thing and we're asking it to give us everything it has, but
Yeah.
yet we're not giving it everything it needs.
That's right.
So,
That's right. That's a sinful way to look at your air conditioner. We'll be back with sin number 3 right after this. The Texas RV Professor wants to hear from you. Email your questions or comments to professor@rvnn.tv. If you have a specific problem, it really helps if you can send a photo as well. That makes it easier for Terry to diagnose your issue. You can also leave a voicemail for Terry Cooper at 877-578-RVNN, extension 708. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.